thanks for joining. I'm happy to see everyone here. And This is the fourth year continuously presenting on New Zealand Business Summit. And Today my session is all about beautiful code components for Power Pages. So recently, uh, like for Power Pages, Microsoft has introduced the code components. So in the past, we used to have the PCF only for Canvas and model driven. And now we can make utilize of the code components for Power Pages as well. So this is kind of semi-technical, and I would go with a semi-technical approach and then give you a background of why we need it and what is the business use case. Just to start with, so myself, Ragavan Rajan. So you can see here, I am a super user, which means like I'm actively collaborating in the Microsoft forums along with Hamish and other guys across the globe, and also like awarded for super user for the last 5 seasons, which means 2.6 years on the top of the leaderboard on the Power Pages and Canvas app and model driven area. And I actively write blog on ragavanrajan.medium.com. And then I also have some kind of cool repositories in my GitHub and active Stack Overflow contributor as well. So if you want to follow some cool tricks, just follow me on LinkedIn or maybe in Medium. And recently, I have been awarded as Microsoft Most Valuable Professional with the help of all other communities here, also with Hamish and Greg. So they were supporting me, as Michelle said, that was the key thing. You need a good networking to grow yourself. And also they let me allow to run sessions for Auckland as well through online sessions. That was the key thing. And these are all additional activities, which is I'm helping the community and throughout New Zealand, Australia. The today agenda is very, very simple. I'll start with the overview, why the PCF is needed for Power Pages and what are code components and how you can utilize the Power code components in Power Pages, and a little bit of demo, cool demo, you can utilize it. And then there are cool things Microsoft has introduced. So how we can actually see that, and then we will end up with the Q&A. So those of you who are not aware about the Power Pages, so this was really not new. It's a really old product. It started with ADX Studio in the past. People who have worked in ADX Studio, and then Microsoft has acquired ADX Studio, and then it was a Dynamics portal, Dynamics 365 portal, and then the history goes on, and then it was like Power Apps portal, and then finally now Power Pages is like a standalone. Now you can see Power Pages is coming up with a new design studio and also with the cool new components. And the key thing is you can quickly build your websites with the information and services which you essentially needed for your customer. So that's the key thing. So you can see here, so these are all the core things. So behind the scene, it is actually hosted in Azure as tightly coupled, as well as sometimes on a with all other Azure applications, so which is really secure. So in that case, you can design, configure, and publish websites instantly with the data you need. And thing you need here is this is the Power Pages which I'm focusing. Oh, it's not coming. So today my session is about the Power Apps component framework. So this is the excerpt from the Microsoft Learning. So you can see the PCF is essential only if you want to enhance the user experience, the visual experience. It can be like Canvas app or model driven, or now they are introducing it for Power Pages, which was a long pending request, and people needed that for a web-based application. That was the core thing. So in the past, we used to have a PCF to achieve your custom business need. It can be like a visualized or maybe like a data driven. So the same thing can now be achieved in Power Pages as well. And these are all the core benefits you can see. The first thing is develop faster than ever before, which means it's not limited. So you can utilize Azure plus Power Apps together. So there are no limits exactly. You can utilize Azure functions and then Azure monitoring, web app filtering, so many cool things, which is all possible now. So it is like a fusion development. You can now utilize top to bottom of the Azure cloud area, and you can build a PCF through this. And also key thing is reusable visual experience. So this is the key part where you can see maps, chart, carousel, etc. whatever the custom needs which you need for your business, which is all now possible with the same data set, but with a new visualized experience. And also, like, it is a metadata driven, which means your data is key for configuring this PCF component, and it's completely performant and optimized. So you can utilize any kind of framework you like. If you are a React guy, you can utilize React, or any kind of JavaScript like Angular or Vue.js. Anything is possible through PCF, and you can embed this component in Power Pages and then render it and show it to the customer visually. And this was the key thing which was missing. So you can see on the past, Canvas and model driven, which was always available. And the recently introduced product was Power Pages, which is this bit. And then it is very easy to deploy through the Power Platform CLI, and you can export it to different kind of environment. Yeah, so just a key thing, like people who are developing PCF across the globe, you can see there is a pcf.gallery, which is the URL where that's a one-stop for you, like where you can find cool components from developers across the globe. And it was actually maintained by our fellow colleagues, Guido, who is based in Italy. So he's the like a main person who was maintaining this PCF gallery for a while. And you can find many cool components which you can utilize for your business. And also, like one of my colleague in the super user forum, Alexander, he's based in Canada now. So he was also helping me with achieving new possibilities for our business. So anyone wanted to start it with PCF, this is the official resource. You can also find this in Microsoft Learn. So there are like people who are actively answering forums as well, like Diana and other guys, Natraj from Australia. They are all helping us through the community forum. And you can also submit your ideas in the PCF idea link. So to achieve what we are going to do today, so it is like for Power Pages, your portal version should be 9.3.3. So which is the key thing, like people who are lucky, like when they started with Power Pages, you will be presented with this by default. So which means it is already available for you. People who are still in Power Apps portal, there is a little bit of upgrade which you need to do, but it's not a complex thing. So you should need a system administrator, right? And then enable this Power Apps component feature framework. So currently you can see, so these are the field types and formats which is currently supported, starting with currency, and then you can see email, text area, and then the two options which is mostly used, and then some option set as well. So this is currently supported through React, Angular, and Vue.js, and you can also vanilla JavaScript as well, but TypeScript is the officially supported language. And also there are some other fields which is currently not supported, like capturing images, videos for Power Apps, and also the device picker and the current position. So these are all not supported, but for Power Pages, you can also utilize the web API, and then you can call your own customized API and then bring the data within Power Pages. So that is also possible. So how do we actually build this code component? So this is the CMP approach, very simple approach. You can see the step one, you can build your own component, and or if you have existing code component, you can take it from PCF gallery. And if you say like, this is the thing I need, then you can add it to your code component to the model driven app. And then on the portal Power Pages, so this is the new thing they have introduced. So here, all you need to do is one little bit step, which is, yeah, so which is this bit. So you can see there is a metadata configuration. So that is the extra bit we need to do. And then you will get your code components in Power Pages. And also, this is my most favorite, like you can see, as you're aware, like Power Apps portal or Power Pages, which supports the code component using the liquid template tag, which is really cool, like a server-side templating language, where Microsoft is now allowing you to actually render through the liquid template tag. So these are all the key bits you can see here through the liquid template tag. All you need to do is a code component, and then starting with this is the prefix, and then the publisher name and the name of the control. And if your business requires a customized parameter from your API, that is also possible. And then if you have an API key, it is really safe to render here. Also, at present, you can see there are different ways to actually see what I have just described, how you can see your prefix and then the publisher name. So there are, Microsoft is officially allowing you to type your URL through this customized URL, and then you can find your control and you can render it in your Power Pages. So today, so this is just a gist of what I'm going to show you on the demo. So you can see like you have a basic form where you want to replace a column that display an option set. So which can be like yes or no, or maybe any kind of option set with a different icon using the code component. So it may be necessary for a different use case for your business case. So this is a traditional form where you can see there are two different things where so this is one of the code component. So you can see the feedback score, which is actually a numeric field. And also there is a publish to web, which is a different code component which I built for this demo. So you can see like how we can render differently and then show the enhanced user visual experience to customer. So this is all possible through code components. And then my second use case is it can be like I want to display a weather component. So it can be from any kind of weather API, or maybe you have your own custom needs. So you want to display that component in Power Pages. So as I mentioned, using the liquid template tag, you can display the component which you have built as a single standalone framework instead of a basic form or an advanced form. This is also possible. This is really quite cool because it can render straight away into the page, and then the output will be like this. And then the third thing is I want to display images like a carousel. So currently Power Pages doesn't support carousel. So if you need a carousel with a gallery, then it is also possible. So currently I have a GitHub page where it's a kind of code currently, but you can make this as a PCF if you like, and it will be like looking like on your home page like this. And then let's start with the simple demo here. Yeah, so this is my Power Pages. So if you guys want to start with Power Pages, just go to make.powerpages.microsoft.com, and then you can sign up for a trial here. So you can see create a site, and then it will ask you, there are predefined templates which you can utilize and then build your own site. So for this demo, you can see the New Zealand BAs is here. And this is my carousel automatically scrolling up with the gallery, so which is not available, which is not out of box as well. So you can customize your own component, and also like you can scroll through this one by one. So I'll show you one by one. And then the second thing is I have a weather component. We'll start with the weather component part. So I'm not going to, just a disclaimer, I'm not going to teach you how you can build this PCF. So I have already built the PCF. I'm just going to show you how easy it is to import the solution and then show the code here, and then render the visualized experience. Good. So you can see there is something called weather solution, which I have actually imported into my solutions in this area. And all it contains is a piece of code which is calling an open weather API. And using the React framework, I'm passing the API key and rendering the Auckland data. So to do this, I'm just going to the page. You can see the simplified user experience. Click on edit. Yeah, so this is the place where I would like to show my weather component. So in this case, you can see edit code, which is the newly introduced feature. It will open up straight in the VS Code. And if you click on open in VS Code, just a very simplified user experience where you can see your HTML, and I have a piece of code which is already here. So all I need to do is just copy and paste that code into that area. So this was the thing which I was mentioning in my slide. You can see this is the liquid template tag starting with the code component, and you don't need any kind of double quotes or single quotes, just a component name. And you can see here, this is the prefix, and this is the publisher name, and this is the name of the control. So how do I see these things? So this is the complex thing. So there are a couple of ways. One is you can see here, if you go to the solution, so if you are importing your PCF solution straight into this using this import solution option, then you may see a publisher name here, which is one way. And Microsoft is also providing you another way, which I explained in my slide. Yeah, don't get overwhelmed with this URL. So it's so simple here to understand. So you can see when you go to the Design Studio, if you click on the three dots and then Portal Management. So this is our behind the scene. This is the Dynamics URL which you need. And then you can copy that. And then this is the customized API which Microsoft is providing at this stage. I hope Microsoft will address this, like we are constantly providing feedback and you can see a visualized experience. So once you hit this URL, API data, and then custom controls, then you can see you can pass the name filter. And then when you do Control F, find for weather control. So this is the bit which I need. Yeah, this bit. So in case if you are importing your solution through Power Platform CLI, which is the Power Platform CLI, then it is very hard to find the publisher name and the prefix of the control and what is the control ID. So that is the very hard part. So currently using this way, you can find the relevant control what you have imported into your environment, and then take that, copy that area. And then when I go back to my design studio, so this is where I'm currently editing. Yeah, so once you paste this after the code component, then hit the save button, then go back to your design studio, then hit sync. So it's so simple it is to actually render your component just by hitting the sync button. So you can see currently it is not showing anything in the preview, but because it's a server-side language, the liquid template language, is just rendering behind the scene. So once you have done, click on preview and go to desktop. I think I already opened that here. Yeah, so if you refresh this, yeah, so you can see currently. So, and the beauty of this code component is because it's unlike the basic form. You don't need to configure metadata, or you don't need to do anything on model driven. It's just a pure component. Just a deep dive into the how it is actually rendering. So you can see here it is a standalone control, and it is rendered as a simplified HTML experience. And you can see the data is dynamic. And you can also see like you can't see the API key, but it is actually like behind the scene. I have coded this for Auckland, and then the open weather API is actually fetching the data for the next few days. And then you can achieve similar kind of needs for your business according to your own API. If you have your own API, you can pass this in your PS code and the PCF framework, and then you can render it similar to that. And then my next demo is about the basic form. So here I'm just going to utilize the contact us form, which is already there. And then if I hit preview, So you can see it's a very basic, simple form, and it doesn't have it has a name, email, subject, message, and then say for example you have something called publish to web, which is like a option set, like a yes or no value, where you want to display as a different grid control or show a different visualized experience, which is also possible. So all you can do is go to the design studio, and then if you're lucky enough, you can edit it from here by clicking the form and then edit fields. Or you can go to the Maker Studio, which is the traditional way here, which is also possible. So you can go to Dataverse and then Tables. And then find the relevant table, in my case, which is feedback. And then you can see forms here. So here you can see this is the simple contact us form, which is currently rendering here. So for instance, I want to add another field, which I want to display with a different visualized experience. So when I go back here, click on simple contact us. Yeah, increase the zoom. So you can see, so these are all the current fields. So I want to add one more field, which is publish to web. So this field, and you can click on add to selected section. Publish to web. Yeah. And then you can see add to selected section. So probably it's somewhere going. Or the easiest way is you can see, so there are some active bugs where we can utilize in a different way. So you can go to the contact us form and then switch to the classic mode. I can try. It's not rendering actually. Yeah, that's okay. So you can go back to the classic view, and then you can find the publish to web. Yeah, that's fine. And then save and hit publish. Yeah, so once you're done, and then you can go back to the same form. Say, for instance, I want to display a different visualized experience for that publish to web. So all you need to do is when you see that here, so currently it is a yes or no. And then the way how you can utilize the code components for Power Pages, you can see code component on the top. The first thing is hit the code component, and then you can see these are all the components available. And then if you don't see your component here, click on get more component. And then this is like this is all the components that uploaded. Yeah. So I'll quickly go back to the Maker portal. So here I have built a component. So all I need to do is click on import solution, click browse, and then you can see PCF here. And this is my PCF. So normally you will get a one single zip file, and then click on that zip file and then hit next. And then import. So this is the way Power Pages is allowing you to import the solution which you have built. And then once it is imported, you will see a success message here. Yeah, while we're doing that, you can see like it will take a few seconds, and then you can see your component straight away on the top. I think it will be a few seconds. Yeah, so you can see it is imported successfully. And if you go back and then hit refresh, then you can see this is the component which I have built using the Bootstrap, because Power Pages comes with the Bootstrap framework. Currently, it is version 3. So you can see now the Bootstrap, my custom component is appearing. So which is the step number 2, where you need to configure your component to model driven. Hit component, and then this is my component I wanted to say, and I wanted to display this in web, mobile, and tablet. Then once you're done, hit save, and then publish. Yeah, so this is done. So now we can go back to our editor, which is the Design Studio, and hit sync. There is 3-step option, which is the metadata. Yeah, so make it here. Yeah, so it's done now. So if I go back, then hit the refresh now. Yeah, so here you can see, you might be wondering like why it is showing a different thing instead of what I have built, because it's option set, it is showing a checkbox. So that is the third step approach which I have mentioned. So you can see here. So currently we have added our existing component, which is done. And then we have added the component in the model driven, which is also done. So we haven't done this. That's the reason why it is displaying in a different way. So for that, you need to go to the portal management and then choose your form. You can see simple contact us form. And I think it should be. The one. And then go to basic form metadata. And you can see new basic form metadata. So in that, select attribute and then choose your field, in my case, which is published to web. And then this is the key thing. So you can see control style and then choose code component. That's the key bit. I hope this is the right website. And then once done, go to Design Studio, hit sync. And then refresh the page. I hope it should render. So that's probably not the right form then. See from here. Will contact us. Probably this one. Yeah, I'm sorry. So there are 2 different websites with the same name. And publish to web. And choose code component. Hit save and close. Save and close. Sync. I hope this time you can see a different view with an enhanced experience. Yes. Yeah. So that's how you can build your custom component for Power Pages. So it can be anything. So in this case, I have utilized a Bootstrap framework along with the React. So you can see when I hit this button, so it is, I wanted to show yes or no in a different way, but it can be like anything. So say for instance, if you have a calendar control or maybe a list, you want to display it as a calendar control, which is all possible. Or you can schedule something for your external customer. Yes, you can utilize, so this is the code. I would like to quickly show what is happening here. So you may have a business scenario where you want to fetch all your customer, the busy status or out of office status, which is also possible. So you can actually use the Graph API and then get all their details through the AD and then display a different thing. Instead of list, you can actually display a calendar control along with, you can do the scheduling also, which is all possible. So that's how you do. And then my final thing here, which is the carousel component, which is on my home page. So you can see this is not a PCF as of now, but I have actually published a code, very simple code in the GitHub. And also I will quickly do the preview of how it looks like. So in case if you want to show some kind of gallery on the homepage, which is also possible. So this is my the core code from Bootstrap itself. It's not too complicated, and then you can see here just a few lines of the table data, and then you can see I uploaded pictures, which is actually under web files, right? So I have uploaded few pictures here. And then I'm just utilizing the pictures from the web files. You can also utilize the new file columns, and then you can also call your images from the file columns type itself. Then if I go back here, say for instance, currently I have, you can see 3 images, which is popping up on the home page. So if I hit home, so that's the first image. And that's the second one. That's a beautiful day in Auckland, and the third one in Rahopehu. So, and then if you want to display one more, so you can see there is a piece of line. So all you need to do is just uncomment that and take this out. And you can also see the 4th image here. Just uncomment that. The same thing, like just the same block from the above thing. And you can see I have already uploaded a picture called by here. And I don't want this to be active. And then that's all we have done. And then hit save. Go back to Design Studio and hit sync. Yeah, so now it will display 4 images instead of 3. So you can do dynamically through PCF. The idea here is I'm just showing you how the code is written. You can utilize the PCF framework and then follow the same methodology. And then you can call all your web files and filter only for JPGs. And then this is the final thing. Oh, probably something is broken there. Yeah, so that's the overall idea. I think I will stop here and happy to answer any questions, like if you have. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, so the new thing is rendering the weather component. So you can see using the liquid template tag, which is new to Power Pages. It was not exist in the Power Apps portal. So you can still do in the old way, like model driven, you can configure some things. And there was no liquid template tag, which was not available. So that's a new thing to learn. And as I mentioned, it's a standalone component. So you don't need to do any metadata configuration, or you don't need to do any kind of different configuration. So basically you can show anything you want, even if it is your custom business need for any external customers, or your own business data, or it can be external customer data as well. Through the API, you can fetch that and then pass the API key and then display as a single component. And it can be fully interactive as well. And there is one more thing which is complicated, which I'm not showing today, which is like the other new thing they introduced is through Web API. So Portal has a Web API, so you can utilize code component along with the Web API. So that is also possible, like editable grids and also calling any kind of data through the Web API. Yeah. Yes, please.
Right. BPA.
Sorry, what?
Say MPA, BPA.
What is that related to?
What you just said, I didn't understand the acronym, what you used.
API, is it?
Oh, API. API.
API.
Sorry. Yeah,
Sorry.
API. Yeah.
There's two questions. The first is, if I can ask a silly or tricky question, you probably say yes.
Yeah.
The second question is, will you, I'm sorry if that has been added, but will you ever consider or risk yourself to do
Yes, why not? Yeah. 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 I mean, there are some needs like the small business sites across, even in New Zealand, like honey sellers and the small business sites across every city in New Zealand. They have their own needs and they want a shopping cart. They usually use Shopify, and which is really pricey. Whereas with this, it's licensing is very simple, and you can configure Shopify with a few Web API clicks and also with PCF. A little bit of work, but I think it's still worth it.
Can I have?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Any? You can do the iframe. So once you have your site, you can do the iframing to anywhere because it's all dynamics, which is one way. I don't think you will get a CORS issue anywhere, but yeah, that's how I do. Other than that, probably like embedding in a different way, or maybe sending the data to the business center, which is also possible. Yeah. Any more? Yeah. 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 Yeah, that's a simple thing to do. It is a inbuilt configuration. You can hit the plus section here, and you can see add a column, and then immediately you can see a Power BI. No, it's free. So that's the beauty of Power Pages. There is a talk always like whether we need to pay for a premium Power BI. It is actually not actually.
There's a embed license.
Embed license, yeah. That's the embed license, but mostly it's a free. Like once you have your Power Pages up and running, once you have your Power BI report, you hit this Power BI and then configure your report. That's all. So the customer don't need to pay anything. Everything can be applied. So you can see as soon as you configure, so you can get a configuration here to apply the row level security, and then you can do the same configuration in your Power BI, and then it will. There is something called there is a deep dive, like there's something called web roles, and you need to match your web roles with your row level security. Then the data can be filtered. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Your base form can match the customer signature.
Yeah, it's possible. So that's a similar thing what I have done here. So instead of showing get more components for text field, there is an inbuilt, oh, I can show you here. So there is something called pen input. So built by Microsoft already, which is available instantly. So you can capture any kind of input. So maybe it's not in this environment. Yes, it's available already. You don't need to build customized. It's already available for you. Just choose the more components and then choose pen input. Then you can capture signature straight away.
So you say as the
Yes, it's possible. Yeah, just through Power Automate, one more extra step, but it is possible to capture the image. Yeah. 100% interactive. only see their data. As I mentioned, you have your web role and then add your contacts to the web role. And then in Power BI, set up your row level security, add your filter. Then Power Pages, Azure, and Power BI is clever enough to understand what is that contact ID behind the scene and then filter only the data, 100% secure. Yeah. Yes, it is. It is. There is a bit of step which you need to, in your Power BI, you need to add a Power App component and then pass some data through Power Automate, which is possible, but it is possible, like capture the metadata. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't use Power BI. First, do the entire Python program. Can you integrate?
Yes, it is.
How can it?
Oh, just it's a complete different session. So in your Power BI, you add a Python component and then pass your Python code there, and then it will be all rendered here. Yes, pass through Power BI. At this stage, it is passed through the Power BI. You have the Python component within the Power BI. You can add that and then paste your Python code there. That is how we do normally. And then you can see instantly all your Python running and get you all the data from the whatever the Python code is. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm done.
Any more questions? Thanks everyone for asking questions. It's really, I guess as a speaker, it's really nice to have all of engagement and people, asking questions as well. So do continue to do that throughout the day. What I like, Ragavan, about this is it's quite a good example of how you can have citizen developers and pro developers together, right? So pro developers create as PCF components. I mean, you can see like the integration with Visual Studio is pretty cool, right? Developers like Visual Studio, they publish, it appears on the website. The citizen developer can just refresh the page and they can see the component there. So I think very cool, and I think that's a lot of where Microsoft's heading at the moment. Both Stephen and Michelle mentioned they're working in teams, and that's a perfect example of how that works. So thank you, Ragavan. That looks it's very cool. There's obviously a lot to this platform, and you're the expert. So if you guys have got any questions on Power Pages, it's a very kind of niche expertise.